I expect the upcoming Scream 5 film to be much different than the previous four. Yes, Wes laid the groundwork for the franchise as a whole, but with new producers and directors, they're going to want to go in their own directions and leave their own marks, but still maintaining a lot of that groundwork and Wes's legacy as they continue this franchise. That being said, I expect lots of different elements as far as the film itself goes, particularly with storytelling, direction, Ghostface, which is a great example because even the producers have said themselves that Ghostface will be much more stealthier, that he'll be much darker, and that the kills won't just be the typical stab you with this pokey thing, that they'll actually go outside of the box as far as his kills go. And yes, he has had a couple kills throughout the franchise, such as throwing someone off a balcony, etc. But historically, he has always maintained the pokey stabby thing. So, Scream will continue to change the narrative and even the look of Ghostface as we know it. And I wanted to discuss a possible idea that I have in regards to Ghostface as a character, and that is being a potential copycat inside of Scream 5. Obviously, Ghostface is a copycat of his predecessors in Screams 1 through 4, but I mean actually in Scream 5. But we'll get into that. Before we get started, be sure to like the video. It helps me out a lot, lets me know that you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel, followed by the bell notification so you never miss an upload, and let's get into it. On this channel, we have had tons of great discussions regarding who could potentially be Ghostface in Scream 5, how many Ghostfaces there could be, and I wanted to present another idea and obviously have a discussion with you all down in the comments below and get your opinion. And that is, what if there is a Ghostface copycat amongst the Ghostfaces or face in Scream 5? Like, let's say there are 2 or 3 active ghost faces that are going around for whatever reason, whatever motive, to attack Woodsboro. But we have a potential copycat that the others aren't aware of. And that other ghost face is going around just kind of using this mask of ghost faces, in a way, if you're following, to hide behind its murders and things like that. So they're looking for these 2 Ghostface, let's say, and there's a sort of a rogue one that is out and about doing its thing. It's almost kind of like, now that I'm talking about it and discussing, it's almost like in Scary Movie. You know, you had, what was it, Ray and Bobby as the sort of ghost faces that were taking out all their friends behind the guise of the doofy being the ghost face. You know, he was like the main bad guy, but they had the Bobby and Ray were just the copycats to that one. Something similar in that regards. I really didn't connect the two, to be honest, until I just started talking about it. But yes, that is essentially the premise that I'm getting at, is that what if there is a ghost face or 2 that are just copycatting a active ghost face that is targeting, let's say, the OG3, because you have to explain the logic and reason for Ghostface to go after a Sydney, Dewey, and Gale. Obviously, Dewey being the sheriff, it makes sense because he's going to be in positions to where he's vulnerable to be attacked, just given his job title. But even Gale and Sydney, like, what's the point? What is the motive if it's some new teenagers with no real ties, or even some silly ties? Because now you're just making stuff up. I mean, how many cousins, sisters, brothers, nephews can Sydney have that wants to kill her for essentially no reason? You get what I'm getting at? So what if there is a connection that is going after the OG3 and the older group, like, you know, Judy Hicks or Martha Meeks, and all the sort of old heads from the previous films, that Ghostface is attacking them. So the teenage version of Ghostface are like, this is our opportunity to take out our group of friends or enact our plan or whatever. You know, it's like Randy said, you know, it's the millennium, you know, motives are incidental. there's no, it's scarier not to have a motive. Like, what if these two teens were just like, I just want to see what happens if we, cut up all our friends. I mean, that happens every day on the news. So having even just that be the motive would make a lot of sense. And they're just sort of using this active Ghostface to enact their sort of inner desires or whatever. They could have any motive that you want to insert. But the whole point is that there is an active Ghostface that the police and Dewey and everyone is honing in on. So it gives these two teens, or maybe teen, to go out and live out its motives in order to take out whoever it wants to take out. And now you have this sort of tug of war between these two ghost faces that maybe only one knows about but the other doesn't. And let's say, for example, you're the other ghost face, not the copycat, but the real one. Now you're looking at it as like, wait a minute, like this person is using me to, and now you have maybe like a ghost face versus ghost face battle. Like, that would be awesome to see at the end, like these two ghost faces squaring off, and maybe Sydney's in the middle and she's just like, what is going on here? And they're just like, like the Spider-Man meme, where they're both pointing at each other. Like, that would be hilarious. And it would be really different and creative in a lot of ways, because you'd have this copycat sort of enacting its inhibitions to take people out, and you'd have this actual ghost face that is whoever that is going around trying to take everybody out. Maybe it is a reoccurring character. Maybe it is a Stu. But a lot of people want to see Stu come back, and that's the actual ghost face. But these other ones are just, using this one as the guys to take out and enact. I just think it'd be an interesting dynamic, especially to see unfold on film, because you'd get to see, that reactions, and now you're looking at like who's reacting to these murders, like, and now you're trying to investigate which character, like, okay, well then who's the real Ghostface and who's the copycats? Like, wait, that person reacted to that dead body like shocked, like wait a minute, I didn't do that, rather than like the shock of like, oh my god, my friend's dead. Like, now you start building this like puzzle in your head that is very traditional to the original Scream. You're always second guessing who's Ghostface. Well, this would be a different layer and very unique in order to have us thinking like who's the real Ghostface, who's not. And I just think it'd be a really different and new idea. But as always, this is a discussion, and I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think. Would you want something like that? Or do you just think it's a silly idea? Now that we understand that it's kind of a premise of a spoof to Scream, but that still doesn't mean it's not a bad idea. I again, as I was talking about it, I was like, oh wait, that was kind of the story of Scary Movie, and I really didn't put the two together till just now. You know how that works when you start putting pen to paper. You're just like, oh wait a minute, like so. But that doesn't mean it wasn't a good idea. That couldn't be implemented into Scream because it hasn't been done before. You're targeting a newer generation that may not realize that connection from that Scary Movie, or that may have not even seen Scary Movie and just is going into this Scream film and thinks it's a great idea. So it's just something new, because again, I really think that these producers and director are going to change different aspects of Scream. I don't think they'll do anything too over the top extreme. However, I do think that they will kill some, if not all, of the OG3. But for the most part, outside of that, whether they do or not, I don't think there's going to be any major changes. Like, they're not going to retcon anything or anything like that. I think it'll just be different ideas or storylines implemented, different changes. And again, you have to have a connection between the OGs and this new Ghostface, as well as the newer generation. Because, what's the connection between it all? Outside of Dewey. Being the sheriff makes a lot of sense. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about it. If you'd like to see a copycat sort of inside Scream 5. If you haven't yet, like this video. It helps me out a lot. It helps with the algorithm, everything like that. I truly appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, follow by the bell notification so you never miss an upload. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.